and welcome to an additional package of the Mike Prince / SWAC Zone. I have with me probably one of the hardest working SIDs, not only in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but the entire U.S. of A., and that is none other than Ryan McGinty of the Texas Southern Tigers. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Look, a lot of people are talking about the hottest team in the Southwestern Athletic Conference being JSU, the I Love Tigers, but they're forgetting about another Tiger that's wearing that maroon and gray, and that of the Texas Southern Tigers. Man, what has life been like down in Houston, man?
Hey, it's what you signed up for. The team is 4-4, 500. First time in quite some time that TSU's been 500 this late. So a winning season is on the horizon. And that will mark the first time since 2000 that feat could occur. So these last three games against Jackson, Grambling, and Alabama A&M are very important because you want to go into 23 with momentum. And we're still not out the SWAC championship race. I do know what's going on 45 miles north. But, hey, to have significant football in November, you can't beat that.
Well, you know what? If anything, and we kind of go back and forth, Prairie View and Texas Southern are benefactors one to another. And definitely, if it had not been for the year that Texas Southern is having, Prairie View wouldn't be in the position that they've had. The blank against Southern University, a strong win on the road at homecoming against Alcorn. And believe it or not, Ryan, even though I got Jackson slightly ahead, you got a strong opportunity to win this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, I know Jackson come in 8-0. Obviously, I mean, I did my flip cards and everything last night. Statistically, hey, you know what I mean? I love to have them kind of stats, to put on paper. But, like I said, everybody, can be beaten. We all put the pants on the same way. Last year, going to the fourth quarter, it was a 1-point game. And Fort Jackson kind of pulled it off on some things or whatever. But, like I said, it's not it's not no big feat. We played UTSA, was in a game with them late, and, North Texas, both them having pretty good years. So, we're going to go in there. We look forward to the challenge. And I just think this is the type of game, when you sign up to play college football, and in this case, especially at Texas Southern, all eyes on you, like the old Tupac song.
Yes, sir. All eyes on you. Of course, you got the Astros reviving their season at least for a little while longer on Wednesday night? Yeah, on Wednesday night. The Thursday night throwdown between the Texans and the Eagles. Then you have the Phillies and the Astros, and this weekend you're going to have the Tigers on Tigers. I know that you've had everybody and their great-grandmother trying to get credentials. You sold out this thing, and yes, Deion is going to get credit, but into all fairness, I look at it as a two-edged sword. The Deion factor and the fact that for the first time in a long time, as you referred to not long ago, Texas Southern is playing meaningful football in November. What has it been like, man?
Mike, just a few minutes we've talked, there's somebody has called my phone. I guess they're trying to check on, the status of how things going in my household or something like that. I mean, I know I've a lot of friends, man, I haven't talked to in months, years. Has rung my phone up. So I have they're caring about me. I really say I have a great base of friends. When they call to check on me, then you pick the phone up and you say hello, how things going, and they get right to the point and realize, oh, okay. But I mean, it's been crazy. People track your phones. They get your office phones. People pop up on campus who ain't never been to TSU to try to make themselves, an introductory type statement so we can consider them when we got to make these approvals or denials. But as part of the business, and I tell folks, it is crazy, Mike. I guess I could say it here, but is that just from a lot of specialized media outlets? That's not from your typical over-the-air ABC, CBS, Fox, that's just from a bunch of, specialized outlets who do specialized things. So we haven't even accounted for them yet, and so it could be crazy. And, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to roll with the punches and accept what it is. But we do let folks know when they send me an email, we're here to cover the game, and, we want to see Coach Prime and Jackson State. We fire right back. Well, this is a Texas Southern football home game along with Coach Clarence McKinney. So, it's not a one person thing. This is a TSU event that they're coming down to. So, so it's a good chance to educate folks at the same time also. I think that's part of the thing I kind of enjoy. I'm like, hey, y'all haven't been around this campus. We give you a chance to come in, or the stadium. Hey, this is Texas Southern. We got a game next week against Grambling. Don't just show up and we never see you again.
No doubt.
In our circles, you can put a lot of different words of that kind of, meaning.
No doubt about it. Well, you talked about it earlier that with this game, you have Grambling, then you have Alabama A&M remaining. And realistically, Ryan, you could win the next 3 games. You could definitely win the next 2 out of 3 games. But beyond a shadow of a doubt, you're going to win at least one of these games from the way you guys have been playing, which is leading me back to Coach McKinney. Coach McKinney has been like a steady ship. And when I say that, when a lot of people compare a ship to a speedboat, you could turn the rudder on a speedboat and you can practically turn on a dime. But when you turn that rudder on a ship, it takes time. And I kept talking about leading to the start of the season. You had 58 freshmen and sophomore on last year's team, transitioning to now those guys are sophomore, juniors. The depth, the experience that you bring is showing off right now, and it appears that there's nowhere but up. What and how do you describe the work that McKinney has put in, even though he's had a rough time from fans and naysayers, but he's done this thing the right way, even though it was the hard way?
Well, I'm putting my construction hat on. There's a difference between building tract housing and custom homes. And tract housing, pretty much, you can build 4 of the same type homes on a pre-specified lot, and you can get that built within 6 months. So you're using the same crew, everything is prefab, everything is made, everything is ready for you. That means the system or the infrastructure is there to do that. A custom home, you got to go slow. You want to, you got to build it the way you want it. You got to bring in specialized crews. You got to make sure it fits the lot, all that kind of stuff. He's building a custom home, and those take time. People don't understand the situation he walked into, just in terms of some of the things that happened over the years. So you got to shake all that. Then you got the stigmas of recruiting. We don't need to go into detail what you're dealing with. So you got people you think lifelong friends. It's time to recruit. Things change, So you got to find out, A, who's in your corner, B, you got to figure out the system, and then C, if you figure those 2 out, then it takes some time to build everything, and then hopefully on your timetable, in his personal timetable, you see things come to fruition. I would assume, throw away the COVID year, this is technically 1921, this is year 3. So if you throw away COVID, but if you do keep COVID year 4, everything is coming to fruition. You see the steady progress. The freshman has improved. They're playing, a lot of homegrown, and we supplemented with some good grad transfer this year. And now you begin to see the fruit. It takes time for a lemon tree to grow. Like I said, it takes time for a custom home to be built. I think we're getting there. And, hey, he had a plan. People, in this day and age, you know how it is, Mike. People fire you just because. Auburn coach got fired for 2 years. Just 2 years. I mean, that is college football. I mean, he had to get $100 million to play with, but man. But everything's come to fruition, and he stuck with his coaching staff, and he's built from within. And now we're seeing the fruits of our labor. And I can't be more appreciative and proud of it, because we knew what we were getting, but people just, we're in the microwave society. Coach likes to bake. He doesn't like to nuke.
No doubt about it. So, Coach McKinney, enjoying the fruits of his labor. The real deal, Andrew Body, a diamond in the rough that is just glowing and shining out of Corpus Christi. And it seemed like that winning is contagious. The more you win, the more interest people come in to get wanting to be involved with it and say, oh, yeah, I've always been a Texas Southern. I've always been a SWAC fan in all of this. Now, when we look at this thing from the reality, Ryan, and like I know, there's been a few people who's been at this thing for a long time, but now you have a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys, and that's okay, too. That's good for the brand. What's your message to the old guards of the gate, the ones who seem to go under the radar or even in some cases underappreciated? What would be your message to them?
Well, thank you for sticking through because, and understanding the situation because one thing, just like I know, we've seen a lot of people sit in some chairs. And, I think I met you, give or take, let's say 2012. I just use that. We've seen a lot of people come and go in those 10 years. And, in outlets, ADs, is people in general. But, but you do know the people that who stuck with you. You try to support them the best way you can. Then you try to educate your coaches to let them know, hey, say, this guy is legit. Please, if interview him whenever or whatever, you know what I mean? And so if you want to go long, keep the tape running, even though you may have to use it, but just keep it because we know what I've been there. There's certain people that's going to have our back regardless, and then, when certain things go away, they're going to go away with them. But I tell folks, Coach, we got a small list of people, especially you don't talk to a bunch as it is, which is great, so our circle is real tight. So when you do talk and the people see it, they give this guy all the attention you want, and it's kind of like, when the person speaks and people not used to seeing, then they'll gravitate to that outlet, and so it helps all of us. So we understand the microwave people, but like you said, I like to bake my fish than microwave my fish. So, I'm always going to be supportive of someone that, that understands the situation because without y'all, there's no us. But at the same time, if something happens across the board, we all know, and we got to get a message across. Sometimes they be knocking on your doors even when they're not affiliated with, the institution, So it's great to keep both doors open because it can help them away from, their current occupation also. It's how this business works.
No doubt about it. There have been a couple of stories that we've been fortunate, I guess, to break. And people say, well, such and such and such and such mentioned you. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But that's not why you do it. You do it because you have a love and a passion for something that's near and dear to you. And, they say they come and go, but it's all about the shine of the conference. And I want to thank you and all the other SIDs, and I'm going to make this exclusively. I know we talk about HBCUs, but I'm going to talk about what I know for sure, and that's the Southwestern Athletic Conference. These SIDs are overworked and underpaid. I'm saying that. Ryan McGinty is not saying that, and none of the other SIDs. But, man, you guys do so much with so little. You meet these deadlines, and sometimes people take what you guys are doing for granted. But I don't, because me being where I am and as long as we've been doing this, you know what it's like burning that midnight oil and getting right back up, not to count your family life and everything else to try to keep a balance in life and dealing with multiple sports. And it's just you, not even an assistant or a grad assistant, but somehow you guys figure out how to get these things done. So I tip my hat to you guys, man. And it's a partnership the way I try to look at it. We benefit one from another, as you mentioned earlier. And with all that being said, I could imagine that with the big game you guys got coming up against Jackson State this weekend, your request list has been off the hook, hasn't it?
Well, Mike, I'll say this, and I'm not going to publicly say the one thing I want to say because I'll let the people above my pay grade, get that one. But, You go on the SeatGeek app. That's our official ticket seller for the stadium. Hey, Mike, I thought I'd never live to see this day. I'm gonna pull it up right now for a few seconds. I got on my phone a picture of a $1,500 premium price ticket in general admission at PNC Stadium.
Wow.
I got a $1,000 ticket on row C, section 236, table 1. Now, people ask, like, what's table 1? Mike, that's standing room only almost. I'm not saying it's because someone's going to buy it, but, I mean, that's never happened before. Y'all attributed to a bunch of different factors. But, hey, welcome to the fourth largest city in the country, soon to be third. That's why everybody flocks here once they graduate from their respective institutions. And, hey, this is what you sign up for. You know, you always say we want to play, I told you earlier, we want to play meaningful football in front of the bright lights in the big city. Hey, this is the time for TSU football to take full advantage of it because, you know, sometimes you may only get a few times. Let's say each player only get 48 games. If you play 4 years straight, you know, this may be that 1 out of 48 where everything you work for, it can make or break you this weekend. So I'm just glad we at this point because I imagine if we didn't sell this thing out or whatever, just imagine the backlash we would hear also. But this shows the importance too, Mike, of purchasing season tickets. If you had your season tickets, something that, you know, you're not scrambling calling nobody out for no for a ticket today, right?
Right.
Yeah. And what's the first game next year for Texas Southern?
Prairie View A&M University.
Yep. I mean, I just hope this is a lesson to everybody, man. When folks buy in, there's interest. This is what happens. But purchasing the season ticket, you avoid all the problems. So I tell people $100 investment for 4 games, or you're going to pay $150 for 1 game. I'm just saying.
The choice is yours, right? The choice is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how to spend your money, but I mean, last I checked, I'm not a business major. You're not, but basic economics says, you know, I can get 4 for $100 or 1 for $150. You know, and you're supporting the program at the same time. So
I'll take the 4 for $100, please. I'll take that all day long.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know. I know you may take the 1 for $150. You know how y'all big time ballers from up north roll, man. So
I'm from the Midwest. I don't know about up north. I'm from the Midwest.
Hey, I'll say this: your history class, Mike. All I'm gonna say is, when you ran to the north. I never heard I ran in the Midwest.
I know that's right. Well, look, you just brought up something that I want to ask. It's significant football play for Texas Southern. It's significant football play for Prairie View. We know that they typically play this game at the start of the season. They've tried to play it at the end of the season. We know it's a big draw for both teams. Do you think, with the success and the importance of that Prairie View Texas Southern game, that there could be a possible lobby for rescheduling, repositioning that game on the schedule?
Like you say, it's been tried in the beginning. It's been tried at the end. It's never done the middle. But, again, I'm not speaking on, you know, I worked both sides, so I got, you know, personal opinions on it. But, I mean, the data so far suggests, you know, you won't have no problem at the beginning, you know, but to make a switch toward the end, toward the middle would take a lot of entities involved and a lot of gambling. And bottom line, it's a gamble. And so it's like some cases, you know, when you wash your clothes, Mike, you wash it with a certain type of detergent. And if you want to go to another one, it may not put a hole in it or change the color of your favorite shirt. So, you know, it is what it is. But, it could. I mean, it's all about interest. TSU and Prairie View, one thing I realized, we're joined at the hip. When it's all said and done, you know, you've seen what we've done in basketball and baseball and softball. People come out of nowhere and stuff like that. So, if they had to, they could. But I'm fine where it is. But if it ever comes for discussion, I would make sure the data is there to justify why or whatever. But if we stay like this for the next few years, anything can happen. But, you know, as of now, it's fine where it's at until people in the big chairs want to do it. But I can say this, you got to give it a conference office agent to create space for that, and some schedules are made 5 to 6 years in advance. So it ain't just a move you can just pull off just because you want to. It would have happened this year because we both have buys on the 15th. So we had buys, but then, we're not playing Labor Day weekend? I mean, so, basically that's the option. Let's just put it like that.
Okay. Now, Ryan, I know you're somewhat of a private guy, but I think it's part of that getting to know you as an SID, as a father, as a husband, and as a son. You're a PV graduate. You're working at Texas Southern, but your father was a Texas Southern graduate from the pharmaceutical school. What does that mean for you personally? I know you grew up going to Texas Southern games and to the Labor Day Classic, and to be able to work at your father's alma mater, which kept your lights on as a kid. What has that experience been like for you to be able to kind of tie these ends together as a PV graduate and a descendant of a TSU graduate?
Well, like I tell people, the good thing about it is, I can speak from both ends. So then, you have a large group of our season ticket holders are ironically my dad's age, give or take a few years. So they'll come in office and they'll be speaking on stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I was there at the game in 80 this and, in 91. Even though I did not go to TSU, I was at the games because, my dad was the one that fostered interest. I don't know if my mom made him take me. It's because at the time I was the only child and like, hey, just get this kid out the house. He needs something to do. I don't know. But that was his interest, when it's all said and done. And, I remember going to games when I was working at Prairie View. Well, attending school at Prairie View. Well, I did start off at Southern, let me say that. And then I transferred to Prairie View. But I remember going to games, TSU games, while I was a student at Prairie View. When Prairie View wasn't playing, I would drive up to TSU and watch the game. So I've always had an interest in TSU, just, thanks to my dad for fostering it, and then, it's kind of, you come full circle. So, yeah, it's very rewarding. And then, like I said, my wife got a doctorate from Texas Southern, and so, it's family rivalry, family ties and friendly rivalries all over the house. But she did get an undergrad from Prairie View, and so obviously people like to ask, so where my sons are going to go. One is 7, one is 2. It's early, but I say this, I'm not going to put no pressure on him, but he's at both games. He's been to 2 Prairie View games of the year. He's been to a TSU game. We'll be at the other 2 games coming up in November. So he'll be exposed to SWAC. When that time comes, I'll come in there and make the decision for him where he needs to go. But yeah, what they say, I am SWAC. He will be. I'm saying it. I could be wrong. Pull it up in 2032 or whenever he graduates, he will be SWAC. Knock on wood, I
know that's right.
Happen, that God say, that God intervenes or something like that. But right now, he will be SWAC. That's all he knows, and it's done purposely because the UT&M family indoctrinates their kids. You see the kids on TV wearing them. The Aggie and the Longhorn shirt at 1 or 2 years old, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If they don't go to A&M and UT, in their eyes, in their family eyes, it's like you broke a chain, and you caused that chain to fall, and you broke something we've been working on for years. We need that same legacy in the SWAC, and I think it's up to us as parents to put it in there. I don't bring them to more games outside this homecoming because that's different. You know what I mean? You wanna see the game where you may only have 300 people at the game because now you're intimately involved. You're understanding what's going on. You're seeing, hey, this thing can fluctuate real quick. And so I want folks to see the whole true side of it and don't think, we just here to party and have a good time, So that's why I tell people every game is important to me. And I want to instill that same thing in my kids. So when it's time for them to make a decision, they got all the data and the variables right there to make that decision. They're not making it based on homecoming and that's it, And so I'm trying. I'll just say that. I'm trying, Mike, and if it don't work out, I can't blame no one but myself. So I'll take responsibility. But right now, he understands his pro teams are the SWAC teams.
I know that's right. Look, Ryan McGinty, Texas Southern SID, SWAC SID, a SWAC man inside and out. Ryan, I can't tell you guys thank you enough for you all providing us opportunities to expose and go deeper with the schools that make up our beloved conference. And as we get ready to shut this segment down, I want to give you some closing thoughts and comments, my friend.
Well, thank you once again for taking time out of your schedule to even call little old me and giving me 5 minutes, I think, to just talk about some SWAC, just SWAC in general and Texas Southern and football. We got a big game this weekend. We know everybody, his eyes are going to be on us. We appreciate the SWAC for televising Prairie and Encore this weekend, which freed up some extra eyes to come see us. So, hey, it's a family affair. I want to thank everybody involved for making this weekend happen. But, in closing, though, I just want to thank you again for allowing me to be on here, and all my coworkers and my administration for making, for putting us in this position to be successful. Because without them, we couldn't, we wouldn't be where we are. And lastly, Mike, two things. I get a kick. I wish I could hear the theme music that you normally play right now, but ain't nothing we can do about it. So I hope you edit that in. And secondly, I want to take a jab at a coach I know. I'm not gonna say his name, but during the preseason, and I want you to tell him this, and so at least you know what I'm talking about. I want you to tell him. If preseason I caught the man watching something on the laptop, and I roasted him for it. I'm like, what grown man watches that kind of stuff on TV? It was nothing bad. It was just like I didn't expect him to do that. And I'll say this. Obviously, it must be mental therapy because it's working. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go publicly and I say, hey, I won't, whatever that was your routine, it works. I'm not going to mess it up because it's working now. And then there's another guy, he's been on your show a few times. He's very animated or whatever. Hey, just tell him Bright Lights will be waiting on him also in January. He knows who he is also.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess the people can sew those loose ends together and figure out who you're talking about. But what they were watching, I guess the world will have to wait for the answer on that one. He is Ryan McGinty, Texas Southern Tigers SID. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. We got an explosive weekend. Jackson State in town to take on the Texas Southern Tigers. Don't forget, you guys can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Our platforms of availability for in the event you want to listen to more of The Mike Prince Show is Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and we cannot forget the Google Podcast. Until the next time, you guys be blessed. And we'll see you on the other side.